In our latest mock draft, linebacker Sonny Styles falls outside of the top 10, and the Dallas Cowboys add an elite defensive playmaker.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I'm Damian Parson. That's Keith Sanchez. And on today's episode, we're breaking down, this is episode 2 of our first round NFL draft, NFL mock draft. We're going to break down picks 11 through 21. We're going to talk about how and why Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State, fell outside of the top 10. How Jermod McCoy also falls a little bit closer to pick 20. Let's start, Keith, with picks 11 through 14. At pick number 11, I had AFC, guys. For those who didn't listen to episode 1, go back and listen to that. I had AFC, Keith had NFC. At pick number 11, I gave the Miami Dolphins Spencer Fano, offensive tackle out of Utah. At pick 12, Keith gave the Dallas Cowboys Sonny Styles, linebacker from Ohio State. At pick 13, Keith also gave the Los Angeles Rams Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia. And at pick 14, I gave the Baltimore Ravens Venga Ione, the offensive lineman guard out of Penn State. Keith, let's start with Sonny Styles, man, at number 12. Now, guys, again, this is an exercise kind of showing you what would it look like if certain guys fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
And guys, teams didn't have to move up. Is it a high chance that he falls to 12 right into the Dallas Cowboys' lap? Probably not. I mean, pre-combine, yes. I think it was pretty much almost, yeah, he's a top 15 player. He probably doesn't go top 10. Then he goes and tests the way he tested at the combine, Keith. And I was like, yeah, Dallas fans, nah, no chance, no shot, no chance. I don't think he gets to you at 12. But in this situation, he did, Keith. Let's talk about that fit and what that impact will look like for the Dallas Cowboys. If you're able to get, if you don't have to move up and you get Sonny Styles at 12, number one, that's a home run because you still keep your picks and you get one of the best defensive players in the class.
Yeah, so I want to add context to this too, right? And for those who didn't listen to episode 1, picks 1 through 10, go listen to that because I think it helps set the stage for how this mock draft fell. But I'm gonna go back into that mock, like the first 10 picks real quick, DP, just to kind of explain this situation, right? The Commanders took Arvell Reese at 7. The Saints took Ruben Bain Jr. at 8. So this is the fun part of this mock draft, right? Because then if that's where Arvell Reese and Ruben Bain went, right, is there a shot that Sonny Styles goes to the Chiefs, Bengals, or Dolphins, right? I think that's, and that's the part where we say where how this mock draft could play out one way or the other, because there are multiple teams that have multiple needs, right? So essentially somebody's going to fall. And we're not saying that it's going to be Sonny Styles for sure, anything like that. Everybody who's listened to this know I like Sonny Styles, probably a top 5 player in this entire draft. Let's get to Sonny Styles though at 12, right? To the Dallas Cowboys, and you asked how is his fit? Immediately impactful. It's been a while since the Dallas Cowboys have had a true linebacker that can play the true linebacker position at a very high level. And when I say a while, like I probably want to go even previous of Michael Parsons, maybe a year of Leighton Vander Esch, maybe. But I kind of even want to go before that, right? Like it's just been a very long time since you said the Dallas Cowboys have had a top 7-ish linebacker in the entire NFL, and I think that's the ceiling. I also always say this, that listen, I'm going to plant my flag on this hill, and I may be the only guy, right? I may blast off to the moon by myself in my own spaceship. Is that I think the guy has pass rush upside. I think he can rush the quarterback. I think there's something there. So you're getting a versatile front 7 defender who's proven that he's a freak athlete when it comes to every bit of that terminology and phrase. And so I think you put him in this defense along with the Rashawn Gary signing, along with them making a couple moves, plus second year of Donovan Ezeriku out of Boston College last year. I think now you have a formidable front 7. And then the other linebacker position, you allow him, DeMarvion Overshown, a couple other guys to kind of figure that out. But you can probably live in nickel and then work from there. So I like the situation a lot for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, 100%. I love it because, like you brought up, DeMarvion Overshown, another athletic linebacker who can cover space and cover ground, and pairing those two guys together allow you to cover a lot of ground inside that 10-yard frame of first and 10, that box, right? But also, again, I always talk about, you're dealing with athletic quarterbacks in your division, right? If you're the Dallas Cowboys, you got to deal with Jaden Daniels, right? You have to deal with Jalen Hurts, and you got to deal with Jackson Dart. All three are run threats. All three are willing to break, contain, extend plays with their legs, or just run the football and get first downs. And with Jaden Daniels, if you don't have somebody nearby, it's more than the first down. You know what I mean? This is a tough play. Like, it might be saying touchdown. You might be hitting the Tyreek Hill, deuces on them, and you don't want that. You want a guy like to pair with Demario Oshun in terms of Sonny Styles. I think that makes a lot of sense, and everything with the coverage ability, right? Dealing with tight ends and even some big slots, big slot receivers, right? Like trying to take away the middle of the field. And I think Overshown, like, and I know you talk about the pass rush ability, and I definitely I think in 2024 he rushed the pass a little bit more. They used him as a pressure guy, things like that at Ohio State. I think it was the first year of him transitioning to linebacker.
The first year him playing linebacker. Yeah, I think he almost played the complementary piece to. I'm trying to think of like what Arvell Reese did. I think they then switched and put Sonny Styles in the place of, man, what was the linebacker that came out of there last year? Simon. Was it Cody Simon?
I think Cody Simon, yeah.
And I think he kind of played that pseudo right kind of pass rusher, blitzer type situation.
That hybrid role, yeah. 100%. Yep. So I think it makes sense. And I think you want to, like, for me, if you want to develop that with him, fine. I love that the pass coverage ability, that former safety background, talking about running some cover 2 invert and him dropping deep in the middle of the field.
I want him to do it all, right? I want him to cover, I want him to play linebacker, I want him to rush, I want to take on double teams, I want him to do it all, DP.
I think the Dallas Cowboys, this is one of those situations where you're like, Cowboys fans probably wake up on Friday morning, Keith, and they're like, man, that was a really good dream. You know what I mean? Like, we got Sonny Styles at 12. And then they look back at the draft like, wait, we got Sonny Styles at 12? Like, that wasn't a dream? Like, that's what this is, a dream scenario that you absolutely would be happy for if you are a Dallas Cowboy, Keith. At number, I want to go to a number because we got 3 offensive linemen in this little range here.
I looked at that.
I'll go 11. I just noticed that. I'll look at 11. Last week, and I think people, if you listen to last week's mock, I put Francis Noah at 11. I was like, yeah, I want to go wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. I want to help Malik Willis out, get him a premier wide receiver in this class. But every Green Bay Packer person I've talked to is like, listen, they don't typically do it. I said, all right, cool. So I went O-line. Well, then it comes out, they're looking at Spencer Fano at pick 11. I was like, well, I'm right on track, right? Just wrong offensive tackle. But I'm right on track. I think Spencer Fano, because of the fact that you have you got Austin Jackson, who's like the last year of his deal. They brought in Jamari Salyer to play guard. I think he's on a 1-year kind of prove it situation. Spencer Fano's proven I can play center. I can snap the ball. I'm willing to play guard, and I can play tackle. And I think for Miami, they're going to run the ball, that wide zone, stretch zone run game with Devon Achane. That you have Malik Willis in the backfield, protect him, at the quarterback position. You're going to have to draft probably 3 or 4 wide receivers on day 2 and day 3. But hey, if you set up for that, you do it. They got like 7 picks in the top 100, so they probably will, knowing them. But I think Spencer Fano makes a lot of sense just because of that versatility of be able to play truthfully probably all 5 positions. Well, I would say 4 out of 5. I don't know if he plays left tackle, but he definitely played both guard spots, right tackle and center, and they need to continue to improve this offensive line.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good selection. And I always say, like, when you draft a versatile offensive lineman, he gives you the opportunity to really reshuffle the deck, right? To move some pieces around. And you're talking about deep in the training camp, potential cuts and stuff like that. And, you signing other guys from other teams. Like, it just gives you flexibility to, we can try our very best to put the best 5 out there. DP of this, you talk about this group, picks 11 through 14, the Baltimore Ravens taking Vega Ione, right? Super important for them. We know how bad the guard position was for them last year. On top of them losing Tyler Linderbaum to the Las Vegas Raiders, right? Like that's a double combination, a center guard combination, especially with a downhill running team, a team that wants to run a football like the Baltimore Ravens. So could be maybe not splash name, but probably as important as any selection through this entire mock draft exercise that we've done. But DP, let's do this, man. It's time to transition to picks 15 through 18. And I think we have some explosive situations going in this area right here. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Coming up next, we have picks 15 through 18 from our 2026 NFL mock draft coming up next.
Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you still have to fill is sitting open. When the pressure's on, you need the right hire. This is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The NBA playoffs are here, where every possession matters, every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing a series. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. And here's what I like about it. You can bet just $5 and get $250 back in bonus bets if your first bet wins. The app makes it easy to follow the action with player stats, trends, and matchups all in one place. And during the playoffs, that extra insight really matters when you're looking at stars, role players, and key moments. It just makes the entire playoff experience more engaging from start to finish. And if you go to FanDuel Sportsbook right now, you can bet on who will advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Charlotte Hornets are +14, the deep sleeper. So head over to FanDuel.com today to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Before we get into picks 15 through 18 of our latest 2026 NFL mock draft, don't forget to check out the Everyday Club for ad-free episodes and access to our group chat via Discord with me, Keith, and other listeners of this show. Tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedonnfldraft.supercast.com to join. At pick 15, Keith gave the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Akeem Mesidor, edge rusher. Tampa Bay. At pick 16, I gave the New York Jets Jermod McCoy, corner out of Tennessee. At pick 17, Keith gave the Detroit Lions some edge help. Finally, Zion Young, edge rusher out of Missouri. And then at pick 18, Keith doubled down. He gave, because he had back-to-back NFC picks, he gave Dylan Thieneman to the Minnesota Vikings. Keith, let's talk about pick 17, Zion Young. I feel like this is probably the highest I've seen him, he's been in one of our mocks.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it. I think I've been saying it since Aiden Hutchinson got hurt a couple years ago. Get him help, like Jesus Christ! Like get this man a running mate opposite of him. Like you look at what the Pittsburgh Steelers did in the prime of T.J. Watt. They went and got Alex Highsmith. Now, you pick who you want to double. The other one's going to eat. That's just is what it is. You slide protection one way, the other one's going off. Like you're able to do those type of things, right? Just that mentality. We've seen teams who really value pass rush, like really have two guys. The same way. Why do you think we always say you need more than a left tackle? Because teams typically have more than one good edge rusher. You need a left and right tackle. You can't just just prioritize left and not care about right. So I think for Zion Young, Keith, like I said, it's the highest I've seen him. Like toolsy, physical, run defender, athleticism. He gives you that kind of versatility play. Edge, 3-tech. He can do a lot of different things for you. He's going to check a lot of the physical boxes. And truthfully, I think the way he plays with his motor, he fits that Dan Campbell type of cut from that cloth in a sense.
Yeah, that's why I went with him, right? Because of that, like in just the mentality that he has as a football player, right? Like just being tough, gritty, physical. That I was like, you know what? He fits this coach, right? Like he in the Detroit Lions trying to get back slash sustain what they've had in years previous, right? Not last year, because obviously last year was quote unquote a step back, but get back to it. They're going to want to add more players that fits with like naturally fits what they want to bring. And I like what you said, right? As far as just getting a complimentary piece to Aiden Hutchinson. Listen, I think it was last year or 2 years ago. They tried to fix the defensive situation, right? Because everybody says, right, that it's married together, right? The pass rush and the coverage, right? And I think they tried to address the defensive back situation by drafting 2 corners. Remember, they drafted Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. To this point, it hasn't necessarily worked out, right? Due to injuries and just inconsistencies, things like that, right? It hasn't necessarily worked out. So I think they go back, you know what? Let's double down in the trenches. Let's go get Zion Young and try to figure out from there. So that was the perspective of the ideology I had approaching this. Was it was a culture fit, plus it was a need.
No, 100%. And if you get those young corners healthy, they're there, right? They're healthy. They're able to play. Having an improved pass rush, where it's like you can collapse the pocket from both sides. It's forcing the quarterbacks to get the ball out quickly. You got to deal with Caleb. Listen, I'm gonna continue to say this. 2025, while Caleb was still somewhat erratic, that was a very scary, like 8-ball, like not 8-ball, but crystal ball version of what you will see. Like it's like, okay, this was year 1 of Caleb in this offense. He just learned it this year. What happens when he fully masters it and he's playing on time and the ball is getting out? His accuracy is a little bit more consistent, whatever you want to call it. You have a problem in Chicago with him. Like, you know what I mean? And if you're the Detroit Lions, you know what problem you have with Aaron Rodgers. Like you need to make
that
sure.
That's what I was going to say. Like I don't even think, to me, DP, I don't even think it's the on script stuff for Caleb Williams. I think when he starts making those off script plays and converting them like Aaron Rodgers did, those scrambles, and then when he rolls out the pocket and then he's hitting the guy on the sideline with the toe tap and his first down move to change. Yeah, that's when it's over.
Those are demoralizing plays. Those are the defensive line is just like, bro, come on, man. Like what? Like we flush him out the pocket, we pressure them. Like somebody's got to do something. So I think that makes a ton of sense for Detroit. Just get the pass rush we need to be. You got Kyler Murray, who's also another highly effective scrambler with the Minnesota Vikings. You got Jordan Love, who arm talent, like accuracy, he can throw the football and he's efficient at doing so. He's at 16. I think Aaron Glenn, if Jermod McCoy's there, I think
that's
Aaron
why
Glenn's like, listen, let's go.
Yeah, they went David Bailey, or we had them go David Bailey at pick 2, and then they doubled down and get Jermod McCoy at pick 16. How do you feel about that combination? Like if the Jets leave the first round and they have David Bailey and Jermod McCoy, how do you feel about it? What are the expectations?
I feel really good about it if I'm a Jets fan, right? Because I get a bona fide pass rusher at 2, a guy that knows how to play that position full time, that can get after the quarterback, right? But then also I treated the back end. They drafted, what was the Florida State corner last year? I was like Azariah Thomas, I think it was. And he looked solid, as a rookie and everything. Pair him with Jermod McCoy, gives you 2 young corners for Aaron Glenn to coach up this year. Guys that can play man, guys that can play zone. I think Azariah might be the bigger of the 2 in terms of height and weight and arm length and everything. So it allows you to match guys up and whatnot. But then having a David Bailey on that defensive line to be able to rush the passer, you've addressed both the front and back end, right? And we talked about that. You got to complement one another. You just talked about the Detroit Lions. They went full corner and said, screw getting another pass rusher. We got Aiden Hutchinson. It was like, well, what happens when the cornerbacks don't have, like the quarterbacks have too much time and then the corners are struggling? Well, you need another pass rusher to help put more pressure on the quarterback. So being able to go from, hey, we adjust the pass rush and we got ourselves a bona fide corner. One of my favorite players in this class. I think that, and you got him at 16. You got one at 2, you got the other one at 16. That to me is a really good situation because again, you still have 33 and 44 in round 2, where you can continue to build, whether it's defensive tackle, you get a receiver. Because I know probably some Jets fans are like, man, why didn't we go receiver here? Casey Concepcion, Makai Lemon. I'm like, man, Love those guys. But Jermod McCoy, to me, if he replicated his 2024 success, Keith, I think he doesn't have the torn ACL. I don't think it's a discussion that he's a top 10 player.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. DP, you're talking about the Minnesota Vikings with Dylan Thieneman, and I think this has been a popular selection. Like I said, I just think it makes too much sense, right? The retirement of Harrison Smith, put Dylan Thieneman in there. Him with Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator. He's a versatile player. Brian Flores likes to do a lot of different things on the back end. I don't think there's anything that you necessarily can't ask him to do from a physical perspective, right? Mentally, he has to improve his man-to-man a little bit more. But from a physical perspective, he can do it all. So to me, this Minnesota Vikings defense, this just makes a lot of sense. They've invested into the edge rusher position earlier, previous drafts, drafting Dallas Turner, things like that. I was trying to address the back end, fill a void, right? Fill a void. Harrison Smith has been there, for the past decade plus, I think. Been there a while, right? So I think you go get Dylan Thieneman, the Lewis sign situation didn't necessarily work out. So go get you a young safety to play on the back end of this defense. DP, let's do this, man. Let's go picks 19 through 21. Like let's make that happen. I think there's some playmakers, right? There a wide receiver or two that falls into this range right here. So we're gonna discuss that, where these young playmakers fall in this area, and we'll discuss that coming up next.
It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient, sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go on about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. So head over to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. One more time. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. The NHL playoffs are here, where every shift matters, every moment is intense, and the pressure is at its highest. And just like the performance that matters on the ice, it matters off the ice too. And that's where Rougit comes in. Rougit offers treatments designed to help get you ready and stay ready when it matters. Their top option, Rougit Ready, combines clinically proven ingredients in a simple mint that dissolves under your tongue. It works fast, often in about 15 minutes, and can last up to 36 hours. And they also offer Go Long, designed to help you with both performance and control. It's all about confidence and feeling like yourself again. Head to Rougit.com/LockedOnNHL and get 15% off your ED treatment. That's Rougit.com, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL for 15% off. Rougit, performance medicine for men. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft the first listen of the day, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in America. It's all because of you. Picks 19 through 21. At 19, the Carolina Panthers get explosive tight end out of Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq. At pick 20, the Dallas Cowboys, Keith gave the Panthers Kenyon Sadiq. He gave the Cowboys Avieon Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. And at pick 21, I gave the Pittsburgh Steelers Makai Lemon. I want to start right there, man, because this isn't we typically don't see Makai Lemon falling this far, right? And again, I thought about him at 16, but I was like, man, let's get that playmaker on the defensive in the defensive secondary with Jermod McCoy. You traded Sauce Gardner. You kind of need to refill this room in the cornerback room if you're the Jets, right? So that's why I went with him with my Jermod McCoy there. We only had 2 wide receivers in the top 15 picks, Keith. Right? You know what I mean? But I think for Pittsburgh, if you walk away with trading for Michael Pittman Jr., bringing back DK Metcalf, and then drafting Makai Lemon, albeit Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback this year, he's coming back for that next season, you have to feel good about this. And I think Makai Lemon could be winning from the slot, being that security blanket for him. And they do have the 2 tight ends, Pat Freiermuth, and big Darnell Washington and everything. But I think Makai Lemon, his yak ability, the route running from the slot, first down maker, the toughness in the middle of the field. I think this works, and I think you get that guy that can separate and allows. Okay, you got the take the top off, big threat in DK Metcalf. You got the possession receiver on the outside and and Michael Pittman, and then you kind of have your guy that just kind of does everything you need, your glue guy in the Makai Lemon. I think this is a really good fit for the Steelers, and really will probably make Aaron Rodgers really happy to say we got another weapon in this offense. When I want to go to 10 and 11 personnel, I got a slot receiver I could trust to get open.
Yeah, I think it puts pressure on Roman Wilson, right, to have to deliver, because now you have a guy that's very similar body type, very similar skill set, battling for the same, I guess, position. And I also, too, I like it from a complimentary piece that DK Metcalf is the unorthodox and non-traditional vertical threat, right? Because usually a vertical threat is probably 180 pounds, 6 foot in fast, right? But now you got this 6'3", 220-pound, 30-pound vertical threat in DK Metcalf. You have Michael Pittman Jr., right, to work your short, intermediate, and then now you have a slot wide receiver, right? Like you have guys that fit roles. They don't they're not combative as far as skill sets and what they do. And then, like I said, you add the competitive piece because you put Roman Wilson out there to say, you know what, listen, y'all got who made the best man win, right? Like y'all are very similar in what y'all do in body types, made the best man win. And then now we have a wide receiver core DP. I would think that you feel a lot more confident in. And for Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they've been frustrated with Mike Tomlin. Man, we always lose in the first round of the playoffs. Well, this is a public service announcement. It's because your roster was built as a first round of the playoff roster, right? For the first years, you didn't have a quarterback, right? And then when you look at this wide receiver room, there's a reason. I want you to look at what the general manager has done. Last offseason, he went and got DK Metcalf. This offseason, he went and got Michael Pittman Jr. That's letting you know that this wide receiver room was below par. Like,
clearly a problem.
Yeah, it was clearly a problem, right? Like, because usually the Pittsburgh Steelers are historically a team that can draft wide receivers, just draft and stash them. They haven't been able to do that, right? Like George Pickens was a good draft, but outside of that, I don't think they've drafted well at the wide receiver position. We always talk about it. Those 2010s, right? They were loaded with wide receivers, right? Like they didn't miss a beat. It was like Pro Bowler after Pro Bowler after Pro Bowler. And these were not first round picks. These were second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth round picks that they were finding to fill these roles. So I like the situation with Makai Lemon going there. I'm gonna speak to this. The Kenyon Sadiq going to the Carolina Panthers, DP. We're gonna do a bold takes episode, right? About the 2026 NFL draft. Kenyon Sadiq falling to the Carolina Panthers. My bold take, DP, and we did in this mock draft, that's how it felt. I think that's becoming a popular selection for him too, like to fall in that area. I don't know if he's gonna fall that far. I think some team is gonna look at freak athlete and say, you know what, get him. Right. I think
another team, Keith, it's the Cincinnati Bengals. They don't care about defense. They absolutely would go against Kenyon Sadiq and pair it with what they got offensively.
Yeah. But I want to do this. I want to wrap this segment up with the Dallas Cowboys, right? Just how we discussed the Jets last segment with the double picks. The Dallas Cowboys selected Avieon Terrell. So now they walk away from this draft with Sonny Styles at 12, Avieon Terrell at 20. I like this situation for the Dallas Cowboys. It fills two needs. They're proven football players. Avieon Terrell has played a lot of football. Like, this is a young man that has been on the circuit since he's been in the 6th grade, just because of who his brother is, AJ Terrell, right? So people been knowing about him. He's been playing high-level football for that long. 3-4-year starter at Clemson, played a lot of, once again, played a lot of football. Ball hawk, right? Plays sideline to sideline, high motor. The hamstring thing, as long as he doesn't need any type of surgery, anything for it, I'm okay with it. Like, to me, he plays fast enough, and you immediately slide him into your nickel position. Now you got Sonny Styles at linebacker, you got Avieon Terrell at nickel, and you allow your outsides to figure itself out. We drafted with our guy Siobhan Revel out of ECU. Was it last year before last? You have the Ron Bland, the interception machine. Now you're starting to get some things moving in the right direction. You're starting to have some ball players at key positions. So I like it, getting Sonny Styles and Avieon Terrell.
No, and crazy, like that would be a situation, Keith, where you're like, man, we walk away with Sonny Styles and Avieon Terrell. Like, you just talked about the quarterback room that they have, putting Avieon Terrell in there. Like, you really feel good walking into the season. Like, man, we could play man, we could play zone, we can blitz, we could do all these different things, and like with bringing in the new DC Christian Parker, like I expect him to go corner at some point. It's corner and probably safety again. To be completely honest with you, you know what I mean? And I just think it makes a ton of sense for Dallas, and you just revamp this defense with not just like talented players, but from a culture standpoint, right? Like these are hardworking blue, like yes, they're athletic, yes, they're talented. These are hard hat wearing dudes. Like they go to work.
Because DP, this is the thing with the Cowboys, right? And there's been a situation where it's been much discussed that the Dallas Cowboys, they're Hollywood, right? And even like in their practice facility, right? Like that is not necessary. Like it's a distraction. It's a distraction to play for the Dallas Cowboys, right? And so with that being said, you need people that are high football character people, right? People that are able to quote unquote block out the noise, right? Because it's a lot being a Dallas Cowboy. You're famous, right? You're one of the most famous people in the NFL, right? And like if you're a number 2 wide receiver for the Cowboys, it doesn't compare to being a number 2 wide receiver for I don't know, the Carolina Panthers, right? Like it's just two totally different ball games. You're famous if you're the number 2 wide receiver. So you need guys that have true football character to say, you know what? I kind of really don't care about that part. I need to care about this because Jerry Jones is always going to do the business part. So even if it puts you in a messed up situation, and that's going to the, the locker room conversation that they had, how it was like, it's hard to focus because they're running towards through the locker room and stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Jerry going to make his money. He's going to do Dallas stuff, right? He's going to be, everybody
he's
wants
to be Jerry.
Yeah, he's going to be Jerry. So you need football players that say, you know what? I'm going to allow you to do you. What I care about is winning. Right. And I think if the Cowboys want to get to that, they have to find players that are truly just focused on winning. It's like, you know what, whatever you do over there doesn't impact me. I'm going to do my thing.
No, 100%. I think just again, like you said, the culture, having guys come in, they're going to work hard. They're going to set kind of that standard and everything. And that's why I think like whether it's him, whether it's Styles, Arvell Reese, Ruben Bank, they need to land one of those defensive players. Like I truly believe that because those are the type of guys that could come in and completely reshape the culture that you have and what you're building in Dallas. And I think that's what you need. Because offensively, and I'm going to say it again. I said it, I think last week. I'm going to say it again. Jerry, let's not be stupid here. Pay George Pickens. Get that situation taken care of. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb want that man there. They know what the impact he had. I think he was top 5 in receiving. Get him paid. Let them be happy. You have your quarterback with your 2 wide receivers. You can heck, Jalen Tolbert's gone. I don't even know who's in the wide receiver room right now for Dallas.
Might be
probably
Ryan
draft a
Flournoy.
Yeah, Ryan Flournoy, who's a solid player. But George Pickens is clearly a difference maker for you.
I don't know, DP.
Year.
I don't see this going that way. It looks like it's going to be really disruptive to me.
Because of Jerry Jones, like I want him. He don't want to deal with David Mugoleta, the agent. Jerry, get out of here. Get out of here with this stuff, man. Get this man signed so you can focus your picks on defense and you can really get back to being a good football team.
Sounds too much like right, DP. Sounds too much.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, DP, that wraps up another episode, man, of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I want to end this podcast off by saying shout out to our everydayers. Thank you for tapping in with us each and every single day. I am Keith Sanchez. You can find me on X at The Talent Code. That right there is my guy, my co-host, Mr. Damian Parson. You can find him on X at DP_NFL. And like we like to say, man, y'all come talk to us because we like to talk back.
Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to the podcast to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. On tomorrow's show, guys, we're going to close out our mock draft with picks 22 through 32 on tomorrow's show. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.